all these rejections from the middle Bollinger Band.
Resistance we're going to need.
If you actually see here, we get a
And we'll look for a healthy higher
I
low.
would not
don't have
be
the
convinced
pullback
to
across
enter
the
a long
structure.
trade.
Hey everyone, checking in on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, BCH, and going to keep it a little bit short today as there's not a whole lot of an update as far as what we covered yesterday. So a couple things to point out. Number one, we still have the bears in full control, obviously. We're looking down at our support, previous resistance, now support 68.29, 68.43. So the lower 6,800s, and we already bounced off of 68.80, and that level is a double bottom at this point. So we have a bounce attempt. It's not even really enough of a bounce attempt on the daily to be considered a bear flag. We know the week or the 4-hour time frame continues to give us bear flags. Continued rejections from exponential resistances. So we are now looking at a base of support trying to form, and obviously if the bulls want to change this trend, they have to break the 4-hour lower highs. So our most recent level is 71.63. Anything under that is just another lower high, with the exponential resistance continuing to reject the price. Support, again, 68.80, 68.85. Base of support is trying to hold. If we get a bear break, the 4-hour RSI is going to be oversold pretty much instantly right again. If I were a bear, I would want to see another rejection from the 4-hour before we get a leg down. I would want to see an equilibrium and then a bear break to allow that RSI to cool off a little bit again. One thing to note is the 15-minute time frame. Noted this just looking back again historically. I want to see patterns and what's been playing out. Look at the 15-minute RSI hitting 70, and look how many times. Not only is it notable that it keeps hitting 70 and then pulling back, so that's nothing too unusual. It's marking the tops of these 4-hour bear flags. But what does stand out to me is how quickly these flags then go straight to 30. Or I should say how quickly these 15-minute RSI levels. So it's not normal to see it go straight from 70 down to 30 this quickly, time and time again. And again, what that shows us is most of these are 4-hour bear flags. Some of them are patterns within that, but it's definitely notable. This is the kind of pattern where the more it plays out and the more people recognize it, the sooner it's going to come to an end. And it's going to work really well until the one time that it does not work. So that's the kind of scenario where the bulls have to punch the bears in the nose in order to change things. And it's the same thing with the 4-hour time frame. As long as the bears keep entering shorts at these 4-hour exponential resistances, and as long as it keeps working out, they're going to continue to do it, and they're going to remain comfortable. I had talked in the video yesterday about how I think bears are getting greedy, and I do still believe that. The 4-hour shorts chart is extremely overextended. I'm looking at the 4-hour RSI just to get a sense of how extended are we on this move up. And the last time the shorts were this high was all the way, I should say back last time the 4-hour RSI was this high was back when we were in June. So back then, in terms of the price action for Bitcoin, what were we doing in June? Obviously, we were in a clear downtrend. The bottom line is right now we are at a point where there are more shorts than would like to be comfortable. And what I mean by that is the amount of shorts that have opened up in this range is about 4,000 plus shorts. And if the bulls can make the price go over 71.63 and break the lower high pattern on the 4-hour time frame, we're all of a sudden going to have 4,000 short Bitcoin that are in the red. So that is something to note. And again, the last time the shorts were this high, forget the RSI, the last time the actual number was this high at 23,000 was right when the bulls forced the short cover here on the daily trend change. So it's obviously a different setup, but the fact that we have pulled back so much on the daily time frame with very slim to no bounces, at this point we are now seeing 8 of 9 days in a row red, yet we are at a point where the last time the shorts were this high was when we were still in a daily downtrend and we were trying to form a higher low. The point is, I don't see a whole lot of further downside for all of these shorts that have recently opened up to see a lot of profit. Yes, we can absolutely see another leg down, but I wouldn't expect to drop, a few $100s from this point unless we see these RSI levels significantly cool off. Because again, if we see another leg down, that 4-hour RSI is instantly oversold again. And yes, it can get to extreme levels in the low 20s or even the upper teens. But if I'm a bear, I don't want to have to rely on the 4-hour RSI getting down to 20 in order to be profitable. So if I were a bear that had entered a position on this pullback right here, like 4,000 Bitcoin people did, 4,000 coins worth, I wouldn't be comfortable right now. I would be watching close. I'd have my stop level set in case we break the lower high pattern. And that's what we're going to be watching for into tonight. We're either going to see another leg down with a clear break of 68.80, or we're going to see a change in the 4-hour lower high pattern, and this daily bounce is going to finally get going. And we still will be looking for the daily potential to reject from the exponential resistance, which is currently up in the upper 7,200s, but it's actually in the mid 7,300s. By tomorrow, they'll be in the low 7,300s. But the bottom line is, until the 4-hour trend changes from lower highs to a break of the lower highs, the bulls have absolutely no momentum behind them. So I'm watching, very curious to see if some of these shorts are going to get trapped, because they are a bit greedy for not seeing any covering going on over the past few days. Just straight up in terms of shorts opening up. So it'll be interesting. And I will be watching for stuff. Ethereum on the daily time frame, not really as clear. I like the 4-hour because it's a beautiful equilibrium on Ethereum. It's just very clear, higher lows, lower highs. Bulls need to show up soon because we are heading down towards support. A break of 450 is bearish, and a break of 413.33 is bullish. So we're much closer to breaking support than resistance. That alone gives the odds in favor of the bears. So does the overall trend. So while we wait for equilibriums to break to have the odds most significantly in our favor in terms of risk to reward, we can definitely have some bias on which direction we think it's going to break. Number one, by proximity to support or resistance, and number two, by the prevailing trend. So both of those favor the bears. Doesn't mean we can't break bullish. It just means the bulls have a lot more work to do than the bears would have from where we currently stand. So essentially, the Bitcoin bulls are going to have to bounce and form its own 4-hour equilibrium. If we bounce from here and see the price go up to the mid 7,000s, we'll look for another rejection from exponential resistance, the potential for a lower high and a tightening equilibrium, which would likely propel the ETH bulls to set a higher low and then make their move up to likely set a lower high and to continue to tighten as well. The bottom line is we're going to see a break of these tightening ranges either tonight or tomorrow morning, and that's going to give us some short-term clarity. Litecoin on the daily, still setting lower highs, still weak bounce attempts. Last time we saw 2 green days in a row on Litecoin was July 16th and 17th. 3 weeks without 2 green days in a row. As far as Ethereum goes, last time, same thing, 3 weeks. So obviously the bears have comfortability as long as that's the case. Litecoin on the 4-hour time frame, starting to form an equilibrium. Starting to form an equilibrium. There it is. We've got our low, high of the bounce, higher low, and the bulls are trying to get this follow through. So similar scenario to Ethereum, we're close to support. The bulls need that higher low and they need some follow through to stay in this equilibrium pattern. Anything under 76.84 is just a lower high, and the bulls are hoping the higher low now is 73.07, but we need a bit more follow through to be convinced that that is the case. So 4-hour equilibriums everywhere. ETH much more developed. Litecoin is probably the second most developed in terms of likely to form and stay within this pattern a bit, and Bitcoin still needs follow through to be headed towards its 4-hour equilibrium. BCH daily chart. Last time we've seen 2 green days in a row. Same as the rest. Already dropped down to a lower low. So note the difference, the 4-hour time frame, lower highs and lower lows. For some reason, TradingView does not like the 4-hour time frames today. But we did break support here, so not an equilibrium. Clear lower highs every single 4-hour bounce attempt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lower highs. And we didn't see any kind of significant follow through on the bear break, but the fact that we broke to lower low shifts things. So I would say BCH is weaker than everybody else we just looked at in the short term as far as the 4-hour time frame is concerned, and anything under 719 is just another lower high. So at this point, I am personally vast majority cash. I have a small Bitcoin position, which I will look to exit if we do see another clear leg down with RSI levels cooling off. And I am personally, if you're in a trade or not in a trade, it's really just all about the 4-hour time frames at this point because they are so clear where we currently stand. And again, the bounces that we've been seeing on Bitcoin, it's almost not worth playing oversold bounces at this point because it just cools off the RSI with a weak bear flag on the 4-hour and then drops down to lower lows. And while there are gains to be had there, they're very small and the risk to reward does not really favor making those worthwhile. So for me personally, once I'm back to fully all cash, which will be the case if we do see a bear break, I'm probably going to be patient for a while and wait for things to develop a bit more clearly and wait for the bulls to prove something on this 4-hour time frame and get over these exponential resistances. So there is still a chance for these bulls here. It's going to have to happen with a spike in bull volume that catches these bears by surprise and makes them pay for getting a little bit greedy up here. But until that happens, they're extremely comfortable. So we'll see how these tightening patterns break, and we'll see you tomorrow. I hope you all continue to do good things. Got my hard drive coming in the mail today to dig up some old videos, really scraping the bottom of the barrel. Today we got some little baby piggies and some jams. That's that. See you tomorrow.
Thanks, boo.
I'm checking them out. I'm checking them out. I got it figured out. I'm the one who's got it figured out. There's some good boys, some bad boys, but I'm just a little freak out. Find your city, find yourself a city to live in. Find your city, find yourself a